In today's video we're going to be looking at this Rega Planar 3, which a customer's brought in saying it's dead, completely dead, doesn't turn, nothing. So we're going to investigate that. There's quite a few things that can cause this actually, but it is actually quite a rare thing. Totally dead is quite rare. Usually it's a speed issue or something like that, which there's various reasons for. Totally dead, people quite often blame the motor. It's never the motor. I've never had a dead motor. So there's a sort of sequence of things to go through first. Obviously the first thing to do is check mains plug, make sure the fuse is okay, make sure that it's wired, all the wires are still intact. Second thing to do, because on the face of it it's not turning, but who knows what's going on underneath there. Take the platter off, and what you want to do is have a look at, make sure the belt's on. I mean, that's quite not that unusual, people to bring a deck in and the belt's fallen off. That's why it's not running, but the belt's still secure on here. Nothing happened. Right, we'll switch the power to on. If you just stick your finger on the top of the motor, let's see if there's any vibration or anything like that. It is completely dead, so there's no power. You can tell there's no power going to that motor. Completely dead. Everything seems to be fairly free. I'd say, looking at that this needs a new. It actually needs a new belt, but that's not what's causing things. It shouldn't be reacting like that. So, a bit more investigation. So, next thing is, let's get the base off and have a look underneath. Before I do that, I will unplug it, but I'll do that off video. Right, we've got the turntable upside down on the jig. Quite a useful device. This you can, it's actually intended for Linson decks, but it actually fits a Rega as well. But it means you can turn the deck upside down, and it's supported and safe, and you're not going to damage the arm or anything like that. So it's quite a useful thing to have if you're doing a lot of this. Right, what we want to do is have a look under this cover. This is where the motor is and the little supply board. It's fairly easy to take off if I can actually do this with one hand. Just single screw out. No. It isn't easy to do with one hand. Just loosen the other one. Before you take this off, obviously you make sure that you've actually unplugged it. So just double check. Yeah, it's unplugged. All right. Little supply board. Cover. Inside we've got your motor, which we can actually have a look at how old this deck is. There you go, 3482, week 34, 1982. So yeah, 1982 turntable, but halfway through the year-ish, or towards the end, so about July, August-ish. About the age of the motor, but Regas were being churned out in big numbers around this time, so I don't think the spares would actually sit on the shelf very long. So it's a fairly good guess, really. Right, the supply board, and I can tell you straight away that what's happened is that resistor has failed. See the black line here? That should be completely clean. In fact, I've got another motor, which I'll just bring down. That's got a good resistor on it. That's no dark line. I mean, the dark line at the end is supposed to be there. That's one of the stripes, but this one, that one, the sort of line off at an angle there, that's my camera technique is appalling. That little sort of off axis line there, that's the burn mark, so that's actually burnt. Basically it's failed, the resistor, so it's cracked right through, so there's no current getting through there. So what we need to do is replace that, and that should have everything running nicely. Okay. Right, so we've got the 12k resistor. I'll take the board out. I'm not going to film all of this, I'm just going to show how to take the board out, because it's such a simple thing, I'm just going to show it anyway. There's a single screw that holds that board in. So, there you go, and just pull the board out. There's actually quite a bit of cable in there, so you can actually move things around quite a bit. So you can take that onto its side to get access for soldering. And leave it at that, and that means you can now desolder it, put the new resistor in. I'll just do that and then we'll give it a test. Right, there we go, that's fitted. I've mounted it off the board quite a bit because they do actually get very hot, these, which is part of the reason why these fail, but to be fair, 1982, that's sort of 38 years. Is it 30 years? Yeah, 38 years. 38 years, so it's done quite well. So yeah, I mean, when these are running, you wouldn't want to touch that. because it's dropping from 240 volts down to 110, and it's dissipating that voltage as heat. So you don't want to touch it. So anyway, yeah, these run really, really hot, and you want to keep them off the board. So this is kind of a modern version, which is slightly smaller, but it's still well capable of dissipating all that heat. So there you go. Let's give it a run. See if that's fixed it. Right, we're all done. Going to give it a test. Best thing to do is just to stick on a strobe, so we can check sort of startup speeds. It's not that important with the Rega actually, but it's a sign of a healthy deck. If you're getting a 3 or 4 second startup time, it means your belt's in good shape, it's clean, the pulleys are clean, everything else. Also proves that the pulley's not slipping, there's nothing going on with the relationship between the pulley and the motor. That's it really, so let's give it a go. This is a project strobe disc, which is a useful little thing to have around. What we're looking for is the outer ring on here is 33, and when it's spinning under a 50 Hz light, which is basically your standard bulb really, it should freeze frame that outer line. Now a lot of turntables, including Regas and very early Sondecs and Revolvers and Aristons, when it freeze frames it'll slightly move around that way, which indicates it's slightly running fast, which is quite common. People get quite wound up about it, but a lot of turntables do actually run slightly fast. Let's give it a go. Yeah, I reckon that was about 3 or 4 seconds actually. That's pretty good actually. So if I put my finger like that, you can see it's slightly running ahead. So that's probably running at, I don't know, 33.8 or something. Probably a bit less than that, about 33.6, which is good. Yeah, so I'm pleased with that. There you go. It's all done. If you've got any questions about your Rega, leave a comment below. If you want to give us a call, I'll add the phone number along the bottom of here after I've processed this. Yeah, give us a ring. Don't forget, we do sell new stuff as well. We do the whole new Rega range. We do a few other brands like Nottingham Analog or whatever. We can service, all Thoranses and Aristons, and we do Sondecs as well. So anything like that, just give us a call. Thank you very much.